Hey people, it's me, Guy. It's January 2nd, 2023. Are we adjusting? Welcome to 2023. Do we feel brand new? Alive anyways. Alive. Well, anyways, I've got a typical show. If plans go ahead correctly, I'm going to do this every day of this week. Typical show for me is at this moment um, fairly unorganized, have not written a speech, do not have a producer, and onward. And I am open to change too. Speech writing might take place someday, and producers might manifest. But 2023, it's going to be the greatest year of our lives. Well, it'll be the year of our lives, put it that way. I think I'm safe in saying that. Um, I heard about this term called, you can look it up. I'm not endorsing this term. I think somebody made up a word and it actually can be found on the internet. Cottywomple. Oh, I remember. I found it in the my horoscope. My horoscope for I might have some strange coincidence. Libra. Cottywomple is an English slang word that means to travel resolutely and dynamically toward an as yet unknown destination. Excuse me for looking like a wreck. That look better? Like I know what I'm doing? I'm cottywompling. English slang word that means to travel resolutely and dynamically toward an as yet unknown destination. It's not the same as wandering aimlessly. So, anyways, according to my friend Mr. Bresney here, who writes this astrology column, according to my analysis of the astrological omens, the next 6 months will be an excellent time for you Libras to experiment with cottywompling. Well, it's interesting because I'd already made up my mind to quote cottywomple, which is, I think, the wrong word, but that was my plan to do exactly that, to not know where I'm going and be determined to get there. I've succeeded already. Uh, Politics. I want to repeat what I said in my New Year's Eve thing about our state of affairs. And I'm going to repeat my San Francisco Chronicle film viewer Mick LaSalle's uh, quote here from the Chronicle regarding Andrew Callahan's film that I still haven't seen called This Place Rules. Callahan encapsulates in those few seconds, and I just love this gathering of words, the crushing, monumental, and unfathomable idiocy of our current political discourse. So I'm adding to that, you might say. Idiocy. I get into Socrates and examining your life and being, but I started that, and I'm going to get further into Socrates tomorrow. But in the same Pacific Sun, the what is it? The Under Report, Project Censored annual selection of stories buried by big media. Now, I looked upon this with curiosity when I saw this because back in the day, let's say 20 or 30 years ago, I mean, there was a number of people, maybe it was this group called Project Censored, and I'd love to meet with those people and have a wonderful talk, maybe via Zoom, to learn more about how they go about their work. I wouldn't mind meeting Andrew Callahan via Zoom find out about his movie, or Mick LaSalle to talk in general about this mind-numbing and crushing inability for public discourse. Uh, what was that? Project Censored. It just seemed like 30 or 40 years ago or 20 years ago, you could rely on there being so many stories that were censored, uh, and that they all would point in a general direction of big money, military industrial complex, um, this kind of underlying world which the average American citizen was locked out of by deception or just um, ignorance, or and maybe just somehow that sense of what public opinion, how public opinion can work to keep people from even looking in certain places. And it seemed to me that the Project Censored stuff over the last 10 or 20 years kind of disappeared. And that seemed to coincide, in my mind, with the worldview or the Democratic establishment, and I mean the Democratic Party, uh, gaining more, not only power, but somehow coming out of 9/11 and the Obama 8 years of being more closely connected with security, um, and our security state, or our congressional industrial military complex. Am I getting too complex? Well, the question is, like, do we question the world of our leadership, Republican or Democratic? Um, do they both deserve a deep questioning? And particularly the ones that are currently in power, whenever that is. And maybe the ones that supposedly are our guys, maybe they deserve even a stronger look. So anyways, Project Censored's top 10 stories don't match my Project Censored top 10 stories, but I haven't really done it. All right, Project Censored, long based at Sonoma State University, uh, releases a list of significant stories which they believe did not receive enough media attention. This article summarizes Project Censored's 2020. Well, interesting, Sonoma State is just up the road from where I live, and I could reach out to these people. Number one, they say, is the most censored story of the year, of the new year of 2023. Fossil fuel industry subsidized at rate of 11 million per minute. And you're kind of wondering what, and and it's, carbon and the destruction of our planet in so many different ways is all around us, and it's not good. But I'm just wondering about this number one story. Oh, I can't even get to the heart of it. It appears to be that all these other factors of the destruction of the planet based on burning oil are not being figured in to the price of gas, and they should be. And that's censored. Anyways, to me, I mean, that seems so obvious, and that's just been going on forever. I think they're really, I think somebody's really reaching if that's the number one. What was my list for number one censored story? I tried to make a list last night. Oh, green energy in general. See, they're talking about the old dinosaur coal energy, but to me, green energy is uh, deserves a deep, deep critical eye look. Um, really think it's incredibly destructive and manipulative right now as it's set up. Um, Recently, Biden announced 370,000 acres off the coast of California is going to be the home of giant windmills. I'm going to get a haircut soon, people. And I mean, I just think of them as killing fields. Just the wildlife. This is not. It's just to me, it's an ugly disaster for the environment, and to ignore this. And I understand that burning oil is not good. 98, 95, 98 million barrels a day of oil get consumed on this planet. But to substitute these giant windmills uh, that fill up our landscape, 200 miles an hour those things swing through. So many birds are killed every year. Oh, I've heard something about that. The amount of birds killed by cats is so large that it really doesn't even, I don't know. I don't believe that story either. Project Censored, green energy, tearing up of ag land, uh, solar arrays. What if every house in America was responsible for their own energy? I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm advocating the elimination almost of the grid, but maybe it's a new grid that needs to be connected up. Something vastly different from what is presently being ignored by Project Censored. And that's a big question about whether Project Censored is just part of a new wave of censorship, where if you keep a blind eye to all this on one side of the spectrum, are you, I mean, I'm convinced that 5 million new immigrants coming up illegally or quasi illegally seeking, quote, asylum, um, is an incredible environmental uh, impact to America in our efforts to be ethical and green. All these, it's just stunning that we don't look upon the human component of what we're doing to the planet. Uh, Dirty little secret. What about the internet? How much energy does the internet consume, and our use and our addiction to it? It's stunning. It's Where is this on Project Censored? Let's see. Number one was the so-called fossil fuel wage theft. U.S. businesses suffer a few consequences for stealing millions from workers every year. Now, that seems pretty broad. I don't know what that is. Wage theft. I just don't know. I mean, it's the corporate world is beyond, but just don't get that. I don't know. EPA withheld reports on dangerous chemicals. Number three. That's something I think maybe it's under the Trump EPA. But before Trump was in there, I had a scientist friend that said there were some 50,000 different chemicals that are not even studied or that should be on a list. Uh, At least 128 members of Congress invested in fossil fuel industry. Ah, my God. I mean, whatever. Censored. Okay, I get it. Dark money interference in U.S. politics undermines democracy. Um, dark money. Each one of these things could be examined. Corporate consolidation causing record inflation and food prices. Corporate consolidation is not good. And then political corporate or governmental corporate consolidation is really not good. And on it goes. That was 607. Gates Foundation. Well, all right, getting into Gates. CIA discussing plans to kidnap, recruit, kill. All right, that's a good subject. All right, so we've got green energy on my list, the dirty little secret of the internet and its energy usage. How about 5G satellites, the whole Elon Musk regime, 5G, 6G? Um, has any study, where did this come about? What was the analysis? Did scientists or environmental scientists get to weigh in on these 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 satellites in low orbit beaming 5G? Foreign aid, foreign aid, censored. Was it censored? No, nobody just wants to examine that we've had this incredible policy of screwing countries by supposedly being generous to them. We just, where does this money go that we dump into countries like Guatemala or Egypt or whatever on a regular basis? And does it serve to liberate people in those communities, or is it ossifying some nasty bureaucratic controls in those countries? Nuclear weapons, censored? I don't know. We still have 4,000 weapons. We still are ignoring JFK's plea for world peace, and uh, nobody talks about demilitarizing the world. Wuhan, was there ever any accountability about this virus that's morphed? Where did it start? California mandated housing, the middle class tax in California. I'd like to talk to Project Censored. Anyways, cheers, everybody. I was going to say something. I was going to be witty. I was going to be all these things. And Cotty Womple on. It's okay. Later. Ciao.